Hello, everybody. This is Tom Eckert here. You're listening to my podcast, Numerology, a GPS for the soul. This is your place to learn about the true power of numerology and how to use it to bring out the best in yourself, understand your loved ones better, take wise decisions, and prepare for your future. In other words, how to live your life aligned with your true destiny. Take your time to educate yourself and share these podcasts with your friends and family so they too can enjoy the great benefits of numerology. Enjoy! Hello there and welcome to all my listeners. Today we are diving into an interesting topic pertaining to our period cycles chart, and that is a recurring challenge number. And what does it mean? How does it influence us? And what happens when we have more than one challenge number, right? Like 11, 111, 22, and so on. But before we dive in, if you are new here, welcome. In this podcast, we discuss numerology as a path for inner transformation, inner growth, spiritual expansion, and self-understanding. My approach is to make numerology grounded, accessible, and applicable for everyday life matters, so that you can actually use numerology to live your life in a co-creative manner with the changing energies of your life, so you can actually apply this knowledge and make your life more conscious, more grounded, and more happy. Now, I would like to remind all my listeners that I am giving away an entire month of discounts that run until August 23rd, 2023. So at this very moment, you still got 2 weeks to make use of them. You can get basically a few things. So the first is you can get yourself any kind of numerology reading. Yearly forecasts, destiny readings, relationship readings, name changes consultations, business name change consultations, naming a newborn numerology reading, readings for understanding trauma, or simply an ask whatever you want kind of reading. And each reading for a €40 off for the entire month. That means you can buy one reading for yourself, another for your spouse or a friend or your child. A reading is a great way to get to know yourself and to get to really experience the power of numerology. So highly recommended. All you need to do is simply contact me through the links provided in the episode and podcast description and ask to schedule a reading. That's all. Now, you can also get my online self-study numerology course. It's a comprehensive, high-quality, neatly organized course, and it includes 44 high-quality videos and more than 70 exquisitely designed summary and practice sheets to make your numerology learning process highly enjoyable and really easy to understand. And all of that for only €99 instead of €279. Now that's a whopping €180 discount for the entire month. Again, you can get it for yourself, you can gift it to someone else. So there's no limit on how many times you can use this offer. All you need to do is go to my website, to the online numerology course page, and at checkout, enter the coupon code SUMMER 2023. All capital letters. SUMMER 2023. If you are defining or redefining your career and wish to pursue numerology as a career, and that's the third offer, I offer a full path of certification from beginner to numerology expert. Now that I offer on a regular basis. However, for those of you who are already experienced numerologists and you want to expand your expertise, you can sign up to my extension in-depth study packages of either 5 or 10 lesson packages and get a 15% discount for the package of your choice, again, for the entire next month. So I welcome you all to read more about this on my website and definitely make use of these offers, because that's a wonderful way to get to know numerology, to get to experience it for yourself and actually educate yourself and perhaps even your kids with numerology. And of course, my dears, before we jump right in, if you enjoy this podcast and want to keep learning more quality numerology, make sure to click the follow or subscribe button on the platform you're listening from and become part of my numerology family and get updated with my latest podcast episodes. Okay. So, our period cycles chart is an important component of our numerology chart. You can think about it like the road that your vehicle, meaning your 5 core numbers, must travel on. If you aren't familiar, by the way, with the period cycles chart, then make sure to listen to my episode about the period cycles. This chart is composed of 3 components: the cycles, the pinnacles, and the challenges. Today, I'll focus on the specific phenomenon of a recurring challenge, the implications of a recurring challenge, the impacts, and the meanings of this phenomenon. So let's get right into it. In general, a challenge number represents an area in your life that is experiencing a lack in one way or another. For example, if I have a challenge number 6, and I may experience a lack of sufficient love or the feeling of being loved in my life. If I have a challenge number 1, I may feel as if I lack self-assuredness and confidence, and so on. A challenge number also points to a certain area of friction that is currently present in your life and plays a major part in the overall storyline, so to speak, of your path and growth. Now, going along with the same numbers as in the previous example, number 6 could mean that you struggle forming lasting love relationships. And number 1 could mean that you struggle asserting yourself, or finding your inner authority. And lastly, a challenge number also points to an area that requires growth and development. It doesn't come easy, but it pushes you to evolve on that exact frontier. So we've basically touched upon 3 dimensions pertaining to the challenge number. The first one was lack, right? The second one was some kind of like a place where you need to evolve in. And then it's like also the third one was like a topic with which you struggle. So it's not necessarily a lack, but the struggle. So the struggle, the lack, and the development. Now, when does a challenge become a life topic? Okay, that's an interesting question. I mean, so far we talked about the challenge as something that can appear temporarily, and at some point it can, pass. Now, challenges don't necessarily always stand for a deep life topic that we have to deal with our entire life. However, in some cases, it does. If a challenge number appears in your first cycle, or what's called the forming cycle, it'll usually be simply part of your personality also later on when the number when the challenge number changes. Why? Simply because you grew up with it from your very birth and right into adulthood. So it formed your personality and who you are. It had very, very strong imprints on you at the earliest of ages. So in a sense, it's literally part of your blueprint, part of your formation. So that's when a challenge can start becoming a bit of a life theme, but that still doesn't mean it's like a very intense life theme. However, there's another occasion in which a challenge number is considered a life topic or a life theme, and perhaps even a bit more intense, and that is when a challenge number repeats itself more than once. The more a challenge number repeats itself, the stronger and deeper the issue is, and certainly more lasting. This means that without thinking much, by simply spotting a recurring challenge number in anyone's chart, you can recognize a life theme, a topic, a blockage that they need to deal with, or you need to deal with if that's your chart we're talking about. So so what I'm saying here is the very fact that you notice a recurring challenge is already very telling. It simply shows you that there is a more kind of prominent life theme. Now let's talk about a challenge number recurring twice. It is important to note that no challenge can repeat itself more than 3 times. That's the maximum number of possible repetitions. Now, the exception here is number 0 as a challenge. 0 can appear 4 times, but that's not for this episode. If you spot a challenge number recurring twice, you know that the respective number represents a life issue that requires regular attention, possibly healing, and certainly growth. In comparison to a challenge appearing only once, it'll have more gravity, and the struggle with the topic will be visible and more pronounced in the person's life. Using, again, the example from above, let's say a twice recurring challenge number 6 will most probably really show as a noticeable difficulty feeling loved and being able to form lasting relationship. Whereas if it appears only once, it can be more like a feeling or something that sometimes happens but doesn't have such a constant presence. A twice recurring number 1, a challenge number 1, of course, will most probably point to real issues with authorities or father issues and a noticeable lack of confidence. In other words, a challenge recurring twice is a sign of a life issue that is present, is visible, and requires regular attention and active action for growth. Now, I want to make a small point here and say that sometimes you'll have a recurring challenge that does not appear back to back, okay? For example, my first challenge can be a 1 and my third challenge can be a 1, or my second challenge can be a 6 and my fourth challenge can be a 6. This too is considered a recurring challenge. Perhaps when it appears back to back, it's going to be a bit more intense. But even if it appears twice in separate occasions and not following one after the other, it still is considered a recurring challenge. So next, I want to talk about what happens when a challenge number repeats itself 3 times, or the maximum amount of times that it can repeat itself. But before I keep talking further, I just want to quickly remind you that you can get yourself any kind of numerology readings, my friend, for the next 2 weeks until August 23rd, 2023. Each reading for 40 euros off, again, for the entire month. I highly recommend you try out what a numerology reading can do for you. It gives perspective, it empowers, it shows you the energies that are currently working in your life, and so much more, right? Yearly forecast, destiny readings, ask whatever you want readings, and so on. You can also get my online self-study numerology course. As I said, a very comprehensive course, 44 high-quality videos, more than 70, summary and practice sheets. All of that for only 99 euros instead of 279. So that's a big discount, 180 euros discount, again, for the entire month. So at the checkout, remember to enter the coupon code Summer 2023, all capital letters. Again, Summer 2023. 2023, of course, are numbers, okay? And remember, by the way, also teenagers can make use of this course. So if you have an interested teenage daughter or son that are curious about numerology, don't hesitate. This is a wonderful way to educate them. And last but not least, if you are an experienced numerologist and you want to expand your expertise, remember I'm giving a 15% discount for my 5 or 10 lesson packages. And of course, if you just want to study numerology from the very beginning, you can just go into my website, read more, and contact me directly. And if you're enjoying this podcast, my friend, please click the follow or subscribe button to keep learning more quality numerology on any platform you're listening from, and become part of my numerology family and get updated with my latest podcast episodes. Okay, after this short break, let's get back to our challenge number. And now we're talking about a challenge number recurring 3 times. So as mentioned earlier, a challenge number appearing 3 times is the maximum number of times a challenge can show up. And that, in and of itself, is a statement. It means that the topic you're dealing with, represented by the recurring challenge number, is a deep-seated and certainly a strong life issue requiring lots of attention, inner work, therapy, and non-avoidance. This topic runs deep and certainly informs every aspect of your life. Needless to say, it is very visible about your personality, the way you behave, the way in which you make decisions. It literally impacts all areas and aspects of your life. People with a 3 times recurring challenge number 6, again using the examples from above, will not only feel and deal with constant issues revolving around lack of love, self-neglect, and relationship issues, but will actively talk about it, express it regularly, express the pain to the outside, and struggle constantly with this topic. It's going to be a theme they talk about. It's going to be really active. People with a 3 times recurring challenge number 1 will constantly struggle with low self-esteem and self-confidence. They will need to constantly prove themselves all the time. They will be constantly comparing themselves to others. Most probably have deep-seated issues and active issues, with men, with authorities, with their father figure. If you spot such a phenomenon in a numerology chart, definitely note it down. It's an important topic to talk about with your friend or client. And if it's you, then for sure, get to know yourself, right? That's really the whole goal, we can say, of numerology, self-knowledge. Now, so far we've talked about the impact of recurring challenges, but what happens when a challenge number is identical to a major location in your chart, meaning to one of your core numbers, one of your 5 core numbers, and especially the 3 core numbers? What happens if a recurring challenge, right, is identical to one of those? So, now that's an even more important and complex detail to notice and understand. The identicalness of a recurring challenge number with a core number, particularly your life path, expression, and soul urge numbers, has a life-lasting impact and points to a far more complex and refined issue you have to deal with. It basically shows that one of your major make-up elements is blocked and very challenged. It means that that particular location will more likely experience setbacks, difficulties, and also a tendency to lean into the shadow side of the number that is situated there. For example, if your recurring challenge number is identical with your expression number, there's a high probability you'll struggle much more in finding and defining your career path. It'll also affect your behavior and most probably make it more imbalanced and extreme. Again, this phenomenon is a must talk about with your client kind of situation, and definitely something for you to be aware of. Now, remember that the way you will experience the imbalance in the location will naturally be tied to the number that appears there and to the challenge number, right? So if I have a 4 expression number and my challenge number is a 4, I will experience those recurring challenges or struggles in a 4-ish manner, or in a 1-ish or a 6-ish manner. I'm not going to get into this, but I want to give you that viewpoint, that way of thinking about it. Naturally, my friends, there is much more that can be said about this topic, as with all other topics. But that and more I'll reserve for those of you who choose to study in-depth numerology with me personally. Still, having said that, by applying the knowledge shared in this episode, you can certainly glean much more information from people's charts and give them better insight into who they are and what they're dealing with in life. And as always, I just hope this keeps inspiring you to go deeper into numerology and potentially take it as a life path, as a career path, or as just a methodology you use to be aligned with your path, with life, with the universe. And don't forget that you can get yourself a numerology reading of any kind for a €40 off discount for the entire month. Well, at this point, it's until August 23rd, so that means 2 weeks. And you can also get my online self-study numerology course, a very high-quality course, a very comprehensive course for only €99 instead of €279. Remember that at checkout, you should use the coupon code SUMMER2023, all capital letters. And of course, If you wish to pursue numerology as a career, I'm reminding you that you can go into a full path of certification from beginner to expert numerologist. And if you're already an experienced numerologist, I'm giving a 15% discount for my 5 or 10 lesson packages until August 23rd, 2023. And of course, just click on the link provided in the podcast or episode description to read more, to know more, and contact me, and I'll be very happy to answer all your questions. My friends, if you enjoyed this podcast and you want to keep learning more quality numerology, make sure to click the follow or subscribe button on the platform you're listening from and become part of my numerology family and get updated with my latest podcast episodes. Thank you so much for listening and being here with me. And as always, I'll see you in the next episodes. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, and you want to go deeper into numerology, check out my website, tom-eckert.com. You can also book a numerology reading or even study numerology yourself through my courses. I'll see you in the next episode.